This meeting is being held, sorry.
Go ahead, I'm good.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Annual notice of this meeting is published in the Union County Local Source, Newark Star Ledger. Said notice of this meeting was posted in the municipal building, and a copy is on file with the office of the Borough Clerk. Fire exits are located in the directions I'm indicating. If you are alerted for fire, please move in a calm, orderly manner to the nearest smoke-free exit. Proper notice having been given, the Borough Clerk is directed to include the statement in the minutes of the meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Oh, where is?
Absent? Okay.
Okay.
Councilman Signorilla.
Here.
Councilman Rabina.
Here.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Here.
Councilman Patel.
Here.
Mayor Signorilla.
Here.
Present, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, please lead us in the opening prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Eternal God, grant us thy help in all our duties and perplexities. We ask for thy guidance. Give us thy protection in our dangers and sorrows. Grant us thy peace. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oops, sorry, Jim.
Okay, there are no proclamations and/or presentations this evening. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes pending any corrections?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion that bills and payrolls be not read and passed for payment?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to open the public portion on agenda items only?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody like to come up and speak on agenda items only may do so now.
Good evening. I'm Hannah Antonson, Bender Avenue. I did see in the notice of the meetings, I did check the website, and there were supposed to be reports of departments today. Is that not on the agenda?
Yes, it's up next.
Okay. And also I noticed that there were other documents that were attached to the agenda, including on the page 10 of 10. It appears to show a doubling of the operating budget. Oh, and why is that? I don't understand why there's such a disparity between the expenses.
Yeah, so you're speaking about the sewer budget, I believe you're talking about, right?
Part of it's the sewer budget, yes.
Okay. I'm going to just defer to the attorney for a second. So part of that has to do with potential litigation with the city of Elizabeth.
Correct. So, your question, though, is to why did the budget go from,
Why is the budget increasing?
on the sewer line? So I'm on page 10. I just want to make sure we're all on the same spot, right? So it's under the sewer, which is the bottom box, right? 2023 was 125, and the other one is, it looks like 500,000. Is that oh, that's a surplus, I'm sorry, the operating expense. From 1.3 million to 3.38. Is that the line item you're looking at?
There's one that's going from, for local taxes.
Let me try and so you can kick me under the table if I'm saying anything sensitive. So with regards to the sewer budget, we need to now pay potentially other municipalities for our sewer disposal, which is something we haven't had to do in the past. So that is a new item for the budget potentially.
Correct.
Can I be that vague?
Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable. I'm just trying to, I didn't know if she was at the top part or the sewer part. It sounded like she was at the top.
And for the new apartment buildings that are going up on Westfield, will they also be subject to this sewer increase?
Everybody's subject to the sewer increase. Keep me honest here, Ken.
Is that outside of the tax exemptions that they were granted? For
Yes, they still have to pay a
certain
separate sewer bill based on water consumption.
And
years? And that's not part of the exemption?
No.
No. And it's not an exemption.
And the other thing that I assume they also had to pay a connection fee?
Yes.
So there was a upfront payment that was paid for each unit or each bathroom, depending on a calculation that Rich would have had. per dwelling unit.
per unit.
So that's a one-time upfront cost that then goes to the municipality, to sewer authority, to allow it to offset future capital improvements.
Okay. Now, there's also indicated here a report of the police department. There have been in the news and on Facebook about people's homes being invaded. The councilman, have you had your talking sessions?
No, we're
with
going to
the
have it
people?
April 17th at Eldine School.
The police gave a training, I think at the Casano Center, like how to protect your home from home invasions, et cetera. Is there someone here from the police department who can speak to us? It's included in the meeting
Our
minutes.
So the order of the agenda is you're at public
Reports
portion.
of departments?
Well, you're right before that. You're doing the public portion, which is you.
Okay,
So they didn't get there yet.
all right, so these are
All right,
definitely
so you gotta have a little
things we wanna
patience.
know.
The
All
police
right,
report is next,
all right.
yes.
Yeah.
And I have one more budget question.
Sure.
Which was, when Roselle Park was found to have violated free speech.
Yeah.
In violation of federal law, just like now with this marijuana dispensary, there is federal law that we would actually be violating.
Yep.
What did that cost Roselle Park?
Are we allowed to disclose that, the settlement?
If it's completely settled, then depending on how, yes,
Is it settled?
correct.
Okay, so you can ask again, it should be signed within the month.
And where do secret settlements sit in the city's budget? Where could I check? Or
Nothing secret, ma'am. It's all operable.
what line item would such a settlement be under?
Where would that be, Ken?
It'll be under legal.
Under legal?
Yeah.
Are there any further breakdowns under legal?
Once the budget's passed, we can provide a detailed budget if you like.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else want to come up and speak on agenda items? I gotta remember to put on the timer. Oh, Ken, you have the timer on? Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, all good.
Betty Woodruff from Bender Avenue. I just had a question when you were talking about the sewer budget that we are now paying other towns.
Yes.
I thought years ago we were selling some of our sewer to our sewer rights, if that's the right word.
Very interesting question. So this has to do with, there's, what are the two sewer types? It's wastewater and stormwater, right? So this has to do with stormwater. So stormwater runoff, that goes into a combined system, which there are fees associated with, which we have not paid in the past, and we need to pay going forward. The wastewater system is something that we could entertain selling. It would have to go to a public referendum, and we have not made that decision yet. So it would be the sanitary system that could be sold potentially to a bidder, yes.
And how would the new apartments that are not yet functioning, how would they affect the sewer wastewater system? Would we be able to sell?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
So each building, no matter what size it is, whether it's a one-family house, a new house, or anything, has to get and obtain from the utility authority, water, electric, what is referred to as a will serve, right? So there has to be sufficient capacity,
To handle?
right? So that utility makes that determination as to, based on calculations, what that will get produced from that building and make sure that there's not a shortfall throughout the municipality. So that gets handled through the utilities. They have to provide that to the code official before he'll issue a permit to allow any building to happen. We have to be satisfied that that building will have sufficient electric, water, sewer, and that it will not have a detrimental impact to the already existing buildings. So there's a whole process that we actually go through on that.
Okay, I guess that answers that one. Thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Anybody else want to come up and speak on agenda items only? Okay, I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public portion on agenda items only?
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion, all right, reports. Chief Reno, would you like to come start? Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I submitted my report to Andrew yesterday. Hopefully it got disseminated to most of you today. If not, I guess it would be in the email in the next couple days. Is that correct, Donna? Okay. Just a couple things in my report. On March 14th, the Traffic Safety Unit conducted a pedestrian crosswalk detail on Faytude Avenue. The detail resulted in 17 traffic stops, 11 summonses, 6 warnings. We're planning to conduct more of these type details at various crosswalk locations throughout the borough as the weather starts cooperating. On March 19th, the Traffic Safety Unit deployed 2 portable radar trailers within the borough. One was deployed on East Lincoln at Spruce Street to slow vehicular traffic going eastbound on East Lincoln Avenue. The other was deployed at West Colfax near Roselle Avenue to slow vehicular traffic traveling eastbound on West Colfax. On March 19th, our mobile signboard was also deployed on West Westfield Avenue at Coolidge Place with a message advising motorists to stop for pedestrians in the crosswalk. Pleased to announce that the Roselle Park Police Department was awarded a grant in the amount of $7,000 to be used to support the Distracted Driver campaign that takes place the entire month of April. With the help of this additional funds, the Roselle Park Police Department, through increased awareness and enforcement, aims to reduce the number of accidents caused by distracted driving and create a safer community. Just remember, you drive, you text, you pay, is the slogan for the campaign. I want to send my condolences out to the Kraft family, as I recently learned of the passing of one of our beloved crossing guards, Todd Kraft. Mr. Kraft began his service as a crossing guard in September 2017, and he served as an excellent guard who reliably protected the children he crosses every day to and from school. Mr. Kraft was an asset to the borough and will be greatly missed. I'm just going to highlight two incidents that we had within the last week. One was what being referred to in the front of the room a little while ago. The first one was we had 2 incidents, one on March 17th and one on March 26th, where patrol units took 2 reports of 2 separate acts of individual committing lewd act in the area of the Roselle Park train station. Suspect is described as a Hispanic male, approximately 30 years old, dark skin, wearing a sweatshirt, pants, and with a backpack. Anyone with information, please contact the Roselle Park Detective Bureau at 908-245-2300. We had a couple leads on this. I've spoken to most of the council personnel in that area. I spoke to Mrs. Lyons up there as well, just explaining what we were doing, and I just need people to be vigilant coming off the trains in that area. If they see something, please just call 911. Don't take it in your own hands, and confront the individual. Okay.
Great.
Secondly, on March 29th at 5:14 a.m., patrol units responded to the residents on Galvin Hill Road for a reported burglary and theft of a high-end motor vehicle. After an investigation, it was determined that the 3 individuals that entered the residence through an unlocked window while the homeowners were sleeping. Actors then took a key fob from the kitchen to a Range Rover, a 2024 Range Rover, and the actors then left the area taking that Range Rover. The Range Rover was later located in Irvington, and the Roselle Park Police Department is actively investigating that unique situation. I can't talk too much on what we have going on with that case because it is an active investigation.
Chief, I don't know if you can comment on this specific case, but if you can, I know a lot of times, a lot of this is people just need to remember to lock their doors, right?
Absolutely. People need to be vigilant, lock their doors, put their alarms on. Some have dogs,
Yep.
that could scare people away.
Yep.
But you just got to be vigilant, take your key fob, secure them in a location where it's not easily accessible on the first floor. Listen, it's going around. It's not just, I know they just had some newscasts about Union County being targeted.
Yep.
It's been targeted for the last year and a half that I can recall, where high-end motor vehicles, where they're basically targeting BMWs, Acuras, Mercedes-Benzes, and the Range Rovers. They saw what we were doing with our campaign, and Councilman Rubino attested to this. We keep putting stuff out on Facebook and putting out stuff out to the public where, hey, lock your doors and have your items put in a secure location and take your key fobs out of the cars. So everybody started doing that, so that they changed their program where they just started to go in the houses to take these key fobs to get these cars. They're joyriding in them. They're being located, within a day or two in the area, but they're really hitting, Berkeley Heights, Westfield, Cranford, very, very hard. We've only got a little tip of the iceberg when it comes to some of these, and I want to contribute that to the patrol officers that are out there doing their due diligence out on the road every night, trying to keep, these undesirables away from the town to cause any damage or take things that don't belong to them.
Any questions for the chief?
I want to thank you for the update on that accident on the corner, Sheridan and Lincoln.
You're
East
welcome.
Lincoln.
We have also today deployed 2 portable stop signs.
Okay.
We're working on getting some reflective tape to put on the back of them, so we can maybe push them out more towards the middle of the road, so that we could try to, enforce that a little bit better, and
Right.
hopefully, listen, I mean, people are
It's crazy.
tough out there. They're, the stop sign is a suggestion, traffic lights are suggestions. It's hard to, deter what's happening out there. We try to do our best with enforcing, and you can only enforce so much. But they're still driving in an erratic behavior. Ever since COVID, I noticed a uptick, but hopefully it's getting a little bit better.
People forgot to drive.
They did.
It's bad. Okay, any further questions? Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Rich?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So tonight, I'm going to present the report for April 1st, which includes the first 3 months of the year. So the total number of permits issued by the department for March was 85. Total revenue through the end of March is $410,773. Sewer connection fees, again, we haven't collected the sewer connection fees for 10 West or 405 or 404 either. Currently is $2,002.94. That will be increasing tremendously by next month. COA development fees is $2,384. For the month, the number of uniform construction code violations were 10. On the property maintenance side, again, we keep very busy there. 10 court dispositions for the month. Fines year-to-date, $7,113. 39 violations for the month of March. 17 court summonses have been issued. 10 West Westfield Avenue, as you can see, is moving along quite nicely. Building A specifically. So Capadaglia is targeting Building A for partial occupancy, most likely by May 1st. I would give it maybe another couple of weeks after that, because I don't think they're going to hit the May 1st date. They were actually hoping for April 15th, and that's unrealistic.
Are they going to do, I still haven't gotten a proposal if they want to use the downtown parking space temporarily. Are they just going to be handling is the parking deck, at least the ground floor parking deck, ready to go? Or?
Oh, no, they don't even, it's not even, precast isn't even on site.
Okay. No. I guess Building A is the one that's completed or near complete?
Right, that's the one closer to.
So they have under the building parking that's going to be available there? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, and they're in the process, as you know, of purchasing adjoining properties, which they'll use those spots as well.
Okay, got it.
So, but they only have enough parking to suffice for 2 levels or 2 floors.
Okay.
At this point.
Well, we'll give occupancy allowances when they could accommodate parking.
Correct, yeah. And then if, the parking deck isn't complete, if they're ready for the other 2 floors, then they'll approach the governing body.
Okay.
Yeah, for the lot.
Sounds good.
As far as 140 West Webster, that is moving along as well. It slowed down a little bit because they're waiting for PSE&G to relocate the poles to the opposite side of the street. Once that's completed, they will then complete their framing.
Okay.
Which they're in the process of. We'll be releasing the fire suppression system and the fire alarm system most likely early next week on that project. 450 West Westfield, I actually met with a developer yesterday. That's the Fernmore project. They're looking at partial occupancy. Sounds like it's going to be around the same time, middle of May.
Okay.
So they'll be proceeding with their final inspections very shortly.
And Ken, so on that, so we will get an audit of their revenue this year, and we'll be able to bake revenues into next year's budget?
You won't get this year's audit for those 2 new properties.
Yeah.
Until next year.
Got it. So that won't be baked until.
Won't be baked in
Until 2026.
Right.
I mean, we'll be collecting revenue potentially for those years, but we can only project in
Right.
after we get the audit. Okay. Understood.
Zoning completeness review. So for next DRC, we have one application, which is Westfield Avenue Realty LLC. It is currently a mixed-use building. the address, I believe it's 180 West Westfield. The application is to use it as a storage facility, a moving and storage facility. So they'll take all those uses and basically eliminate them and create one use.
Rich, what property is this? You said 180?
That's 180 West Westfield.
Can you describe the building, or what's it next to?
It's
Just-
an older industrial building, I believe in the 1950s.
It's on the Roselle side,
It's on, yes, it's on the
Okay.
Roselle side.
over by McDonald's, one of those buildings, like the Skinner, by the Skinner and Cook building?
Correct, further
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I believe it was like a shoe manufacturing facility back in the 1950s, so it was an industrial site.
Okay.
So it is a use variance, it's an expansion of a non-conforming use, but the attorney is going to be presenting an application for a formal interpretation, where the land use board will sit as the zoning board for the formal
There's
interpretation.
no parking there is the problem.
Well, actually, this is less arduous from a parking standpoint.
Okay.
They only have one or two employees.
Okay, fair enough.
So, all right. Otherwise, that's my report. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Rich, any updates? Thank you.
Jay,
Beat you to- Thank you. Rich, any updates with the retail space at 24250, the Meridia project?
Not at this time.
I have an update.
I haven't had anything else.
Yeah, so they might need to come for, we would have to amend the plan, but there is a dental services that might move in there, like teeth cleaning service.
Okay.
So, but it's not one of the permitted uses right now as part of the, it could be. We have to
Might
check.
be. It
Yeah.
may actually be.
The lawyer said that they'd have to check, but
All right, yeah.
if they have a tenant, I think we'd be amenable potentially to a tooth whitening business that might move in there. I would assume. I don't know.
Good update, good.
Yeah.
Any update on the current project, Chestnut, Meridia 10, regarding retail? Do they have, now that we're looking at
There is a
occupancy for May?
potential lessee, but I don't want to state who it is at this point. I'm going to let them contact the mayor, and then the mayor will.
There's a couple. I mean, so one is they're going to bring a so there's 16,000 square feet of retail space. Half of it's going to be a restaurant, right? So again, this would be subject to approval of council, but I think their concept is to ask us to move the liquor license from their existing building to the new building, such that the restaurant there would be able to have a liquor license, which again, I'm open to. You know, it's up to council to confirm it. And then the other one is, without naming names, is a pretty substantial coffee chain. Would be a nice get, so.
That's the reason why I wanted.
It's in the evaluation stages, but there's interest in Roselle Park, so.
Good.
Do you have any update on Dowlings? How's that?
They're moving along quite nicely.
Okay.
Yes, they're looking at, realistically, I would say mid-May.
Okay.
They have all the equipment, so the equipment is on site, all their kitchen equipment. Usually that's a big holdup with restaurants. But all the kitchen equipment is on site. As a matter of fact, they were painting in there the other day. So they're moving along quite nicely.
Okay. Thank you.
And question for both of you, any word on the theater?
No.
Been any movement from the owner who came up to land use board and his governing body about 3 months ago?
So I did contact him last week, and he gave me a very general answer. And I actually want to make an appointment with Rich. I did speak to the mayor also to actually see what we could do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stubborn. Not Rosanna. Well, Rosanna sometime, but they're stubborn there. Councilman Signorella?
180 West, they used to, for the old people in the room, me, used to be called childhood interest, but there's like 4 or 5 subdivides in there. So,
More than that, Joe.
oh, is it more than that? Whatever.
Yeah, there's like 12,
Okay, so
different
what are they doing? They want to do something with one or the whole building?
the entire building.
That could be a plus, so.
It will
And it- Yeah, it could
It's a
be.
mess in there right now,
Yeah,
from what
it
I
could be, that would be a plus. So when's the DRC on that? What's,
Next week.
okay,
It's on the.
17th,
No,
24th?
no, the 9th, next week. It's next
Oh,
Wednesday,
yeah, I'm sorry, we're getting yeah, the 9th. Thank you.
9th or 10th, whatever it is. Yeah.
That it?
That's it.
Thanks, Rich.
Okay, thank you.
Donna?
Nothing.
Ken?
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we'll be introducing the municipal budget. The anticipated tax increase is $122.77 for the average house assessed at $253,000. When we started this process out, we were at almost $264 increase. So the committee worked hard to get it down as low as we possibly could. Our 5-year municipal tax increase, 5-year average is now $103.14. And the budget will be advertised in the paper on April 18th, and a public hearing and adoption scheduled for May 2nd meeting.
Thank you, Ken. Kevin, you want to come up?
Evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for having me. A couple quick updates. First, I know we've been working on the beach drainage. That's the DOT property. We did have a meeting with them. Beechwood. We did have a meeting with
No,
them.
it's the beach. It's Roselle Park's beach.
It's a lake, it's a lake right now.
Beach, yeah. We did have a meeting with them about a week ago. They are amenable to improvements on that property, but as long as Roselle Park does them. And then they'd be subject to an agreement with the DOT for maintenance of that property in perpetuity, basically, as long as we have those improvements on there. So that's something we have to discuss and kind of think about whether or not we want to take on that responsibility or try to push the DOT more for them to maintain their own property.
I agree with the latter.
Well, so here's the other thing, and you have the time that I'll allot, but also, from my understanding, part of the problem is, which apartment building is there? Is Woodside? So Woodside shoots off their sump pumps into that area, is that correct?
Yeah, there's some roof drains that go off the back of that building.
8 roof drains that come down into the tracks.
So, I mean, look, those were done in the 60s, right? But that doesn't sound like it's like up to code, right? Is that a thing that they can do?
If they were,
If they were approved for it? I don't know.
If they were approved for it, it was on the site plan at that time, then it'd be very difficult for us to enforce it. But
I mean, I guess, but like, how can you, theoretically, that's like us just saying we're going to dump out into county park, right? Like,
here's the thing, Mayor.
Yeah.
If they remove it from that location,
yep,
then they're allowed to discharge to the
To
street.
kick it.
okay,
So it doesn't have one half of the other.
yeah.
I can't see legally, and I would, I obviously ask Joe about this, how we can force them to install a detention facility on site.
Yeah. I mean, my preference would be, look, we can push DOT. DOT is going to be difficult about this, but that would also be my first route. Honestly, second route would be to, at the very least, work with the owners of that property to come up with a solution versus just being on the backs of the borough. But I'm glad they've at least given us the clearance to potentially fix it. That's a step in the right direction.
So we'll continue to push them and see if we can work something out with them. I know they did mention their maintenance crew can come out and do maintenance, but it's not going to solve the depression that's there that's holding all the water. They'll just basically go out there, clear out any debris and sticks and mow the grass and leave. Basically, you'll be left with this.
I'd like for them to grade it completely, so it's level, and that's not gonna cost much besides dirt, soil.
Yeah.
We got dirt, right, Paul?
We'll out there over the weekend. All right, and then the traffic studies that we were looking at on Chestnut and Lincoln, Phase 2, there was 3 intersections there.
Yep.
We spoke briefly about that. We can go, the full route is the traffic signal analysis, which I think is a little bit overkill for the 3. I think for Lincoln and Chestnut, I think it's warranted there.
Yep.
But the 3 other intersections, I think we'll look at and pinpoint which intersection would be best suited for a signal if we were to go that route, just because the cost of that is kind of high.
Yeah, so I think once Andrew's back next week, so let me have a sit down with Andrew. I think the 2 council people that it affects is, so I'll catch up with Jay. Roseanne, I don't know if we mentioned this, but I've been advocating, I walked to the train in the morning. That intersection of Chestnut Street and East Lincoln Avenue is like a death trap, especially at night. Like that 3-way intersection's a nightmare. I would love to see a traffic light be put there. So, we need to do a study to warrant that. But I think it's something worth looking at because you walk all the time. It's a dangerous intersection.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely agree. And then the other issue that's come up recently, well, I guess it's kind of been lingering a little bit, the culvert on Lincoln Avenue has deteriorating and there's some sinkholes happening around. I know one of the residents along that road has issues with it. So we've been kind of looking at that in the kind of the surrounding area.
Yeah.
I think when Andrew gets back in next week, we're going to kind of talk about the scope and what we want to do short-term and long-term
Yeah.
to address that area, because I know some of those intersections do get flooding, and it's directly related to that culvert. the neck
Yeah, so
culvert.
we've talked, Councilman Ostrowski, this is a bugaboo for you. So the problem is I think we mentioned this, I talked to Paul about it, is it could be really nasty underneath, right, in terms of collapsing, right? So it's not to say that we shouldn't do it, but it's going to be an expensive fix, I would assume.
Yes, and we're going to discuss with the county as well, too, because it's along the road.
Yeah.
So there is some, although typically they don't take
Well,
responsibility.
they have to
for-
repave it anyway, right? So at least they could wait to repave it till we fix something there, theoretically.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, yeah, because technically they don't take jurisdiction of things behind the curb, but it is directly related to their infrastructure that's in the road. So it's kind of a gray area for them, but we'll reach out to them, see what they're
Doesn't hurt to ask.
exactly.
Yep.
All right, and then the other one is the large stormwater project that we're working on. I know we met with Elizabeth recently, so we have some direction moving forward. We're still working on that, and we're going to start applying for funding now for that project.
Cool. And we found a slightly cheaper route that they agreed to.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Cool.
That's all I have.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Yes, so added to the Lincoln Ave culvert, I have some issues with the Rindell Place catch basin. I'm going to give Andrew probably a week or two, and the mayor's got 12 things before my 13th. There's some issues with I call it the Rindell Place or the bike path culvert, which feeds into the Lincoln Ave, and we got a major problem there, and we'll talk about it when Andrew gets back, okay? That basin is not properly working.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I wanted to kind of look at that whole
Yeah.
drainage area going to that.
Yeah,
culvert.
Kevin, can you do me a favor? So remind me tomorrow, I need Neglia to give you access to, they did a stormwater assessment and they have a platform that's all mapped out, right? You should have access to that, right? It could be a good starting point before
Yeah,
you go in.
definitely.
So just please text me tomorrow about that.
I will.
thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Ruben? I caught you because you were sleeping, so.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm happy to report that the presentation on March 12 and 19 were well attended. Thanks to Union County Surrogates for a presentation on the duties of the surrogate court and estate planning, and Union County Health Management for a presentation on nutrition and colorectal cancer. The next presentation on alcohol awareness is scheduled for April 16 from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at Casano Center. About 25 seniors enjoyed spring musicals on March 14 and March 19, thanks to Union Middle School and Roselle Park High School musical for donating tickets to our seniors. On March 16, more than 100 residents celebrated St. Patty's Day, along with Council President Joe Petrosky, Councilwoman Lyons, Councilman Rupana, and Councilman Johnson. Thanks to our volunteers, Emil Trigala and Pat McNamara, for volunteering their time, and also Sunrise Diner for sponsoring the food, and the Union County Commissioners for the Heart Grant. On March 26th, 5 residents received COVID-19 vaccinations, thanks to Westfield Regional Health Department for hosting a clinic. Job fair on March 28 was well received by the residents. We are planning to host another one in month of October. A special shout out to Union County American Job Center for their partnership, and thanks to Commissioner Coronado, Council President Joe Petrosky, Councilman Johnson, Councilman Rubina, and Councilman Patel for their presence and the support. On Friday, April 26th, the borough will celebrate Arbor Day at Aldine Elementary School. The short ceremony will begin at 10 a.m. and includes planting a tree, a special performance by student council, and a presentation of proclamation. On Saturday, April 27th, the borough is hosting the annual Meet the Borough event from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Casano Center. The purpose of this event is to introduce new residents to the borough's resources and services. There will be live music and light refreshments. During the event, attendees will receive a free welcome package containing resources from the borough's departments and local businesses. An invitation to Roselle Park businesses and 126 new residents have been mailed out. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Any questions for Ruben? All good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Ruth.
Paul? I don't know why I said that like you're in trouble.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Borough Representatives, and residents of Roselle Park. I stand before you today to deliver the Department of Public Works report, which highlights our current staffing, recent activities, and upcoming projects that are vital to the maintenance and improvement of our borough's infrastructure. Staffing updates. Our team comprised of 8 full-time employees, 1 superintendent, 1 clerical, 1 mechanic, 2 operators, 2 Class 2 laborers, and 1 Class 1 labor. I'm going to jump to that weather disturbance and then piggyback off of the discussion with the Walnut Culvert. On March 23rd, we faced a heavy rainstorm that resulted in moderate to heavy flooding in several areas, including East Clay Avenue and Cherry Street, East Lincoln Avenue and Spruce, East Colfax between Spruce and Lehigh, and Lehigh Avenue. These areas have an underground culvert that basically runs off of that basin, the Walnut Street Basin. Councilman at Large Signorella and I have been discussing some potential solutions and will be actively working with our borough engineer on the solutions to mitigate such events in the future. Besides that basin not working properly, there is an issue somewhere along East Lincoln Avenue where it's choked down, because that's the area, even before anything was done to the basin, it's been flooding for probably 40 years from what I've heard some residents say. So it's not something that is new, it's just something that really needs to be monitored and examined. Ground and lawn maintenance. Last week, our contracted vendor was busy across various locations within the borough, preparing for an upcoming season with thorough cleanups. Weather permitting, they will commence regular lawn cutting and property maintenance starting the middle of next week. Storm and sanitary sewer updates. We have scheduled repairs for 2 catch basins tomorrow, April 5th. One at the intersection of East Clay Avenue and Walnut Street. That was damaged by our fire truck during the fire on Walnut Street. And the other is at 620 Laurel Avenue. The one on 620 Laurel Avenue is actually collapsing. The walls around the perimeter are collapsing. The repairs are a part of an ongoing commitment to maintaining our sewer system's integrity and reducing the risk of future maintenance issues at these locations. Locust Street gas line. If you remember last month, I presented some information regarding the project between the gas line that's being replaced or installed between Roselle and Roselle Park along Locust Street. That project was supposed to start last night on the Roselle Park side. I believe it's starting tonight from what my understanding and speaking to the county today. I did follow up with the county and he said they're scheduled for tonight, weather permitting. I haven't been out there yet to see if they're there. Sidewalk program. Department of Public Works has originally scheduled the sidewalk repairs on the east side to commence on Wednesday, April 3rd. That was yesterday. However, due to inclement weather conditions experienced this week, the commencement of the repair work has been postponed. The new start date is set for Tuesday, April 9th, so that's next Tuesday. There's approximately 26 locations earmarked for essential repairs. Tree and property maintenance. In the month of March, our contracted vendor carried out significant tree maintenance work, which included the removal of 3 trees deemed hazardous or unfit, trimming and elevations of 4 trees to ensure clearance and safety, and 5 stump removals. My monthly reminder, bulk and vegetation pickup. Residents are reminded that bulk pickup service is available on the last Thursday and Friday of every month. West side collections occur on Thursday, while the east side collection is on Friday, with restrictions of 3 bulk items per household. Additionally, vegetation waste collection has commenced for the
Are people
season.
getting the 3 bulk items now? Have we gotten into a groove there, or is it still bad?
No, it's better.
Yeah.
It's getting better. Some people are still putting a lot of items out there.
Yep.
But
On the whole, it's gotten better?
yeah,
Okay.
it's gotten better. But Suburban or Roselle, they've been pretty strict with just picking up 3 items.
That's the way they should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So vegetation waste started this week. It's done by zone. Collections are Thursday on the east side and Friday on the west side. If you have any questions, you can reach me at pbiamonte, that's PBAIAMONTE @rosellepark.net, or the DPW office at 908-245-7676. Mayor, this concludes my monthly report.
Any questions for Paul?
Yeah,
I
got
have a
quick
question.
one. Go ahead.
Ladies first.
Thanks. The sidewalks that, I think I had emailed you about, is that included in the repairs? So the ones that are flaking?
No.
Okay,
So the ones that are flaking that's being done through Neglia. Neglia is responsible. They were the construction managers, will say, on those projects.
This is for the downtown?
These are part of the road repairs.
Oh, got it, okay.
So there's
Is there there's a warranty, I guess, on it?
yeah,
Right.
there's
okay.
quite a few locations
Yeah.
on Webster, on Filbert. There's a few others where they were just recently done within the last 6 to 8 months
Yeah.
that are actually flaking.
Yeah.
It could be for multiple reasons. It could be because it was just the concrete was already drying out. It could have been
Yeah.
too much water. It could also be the use of calcium chloride because the concrete is still fresh
Yeah.
by the homeowners. But there's some pretty bad ones by
Okay.
Rosanna's mom's house.
Have you forwarded over to Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They've actually come out and inspected them.
Okay.
is there a date that they're gonna be starting?
No,
or-
I'll follow up with them tomorrow, but I have
Please.
not heard back.
Okay.
And
But I
Paul-
know they did the inspection because I was there.
Yeah, because I had someone call and she said that someone came but said that she's not on the list.
Yeah, there's two. So just, I think they might be getting, the sidewalk program that we do for 50K a year is if your sidewalk is being lifted by borough trees, this would fall under the warranty for the work that was done. So that's a separate
Correct.
basket of money.
Yeah, yeah.
And the catch basin repair at 620 Laurel, what date did you say that was going to occur?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Mhm.
The homeowners where?
The homeowner, I've not made, I mean, the parking spot in front of and right over that catch basin was blocked today. So it should be no disturbance to the homeowner. They'll probably be in and out of there in 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours.
I'll try to catch them first thing early tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Cool.
6:20.
Exactly.
Oh, I know that resident now.
And the handful of folks that didn't get their vegetation picked up on east side, right? You taking care of that?
Yeah, so I spoke to Bob Roselle this afternoon after I spoke to you, and he asked me about which resident was complaining about it. And he asked me what
You're
street.
my neighbor.
He asked me what street, so
Every
I
once in a
said,
while, they missed a couple houses.
so he's coming, they're going to pass by Woodland. I don't know of any others, to be honest with you, but they will be on the west side tomorrow. They will have a truck, so if we get phone calls while they're still in town, he said they're willing to run over to the east side and pick them up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A quick question, for the 26 location, are they all, for the sidewalk program, are they all on east side, or there's,
That's correct. They're on the east side. If you recall, in the fall, we did everything we could possibly within budget on the west side and didn't hit the east side.
So John, if there's new requests, it would be
The next one.
for this next round.
so I had one for the Columbus place,
So the 114?
yeah,
So the tree was removed on Friday at 114?
there was no tree, but the tree was growing underneath the sidewalk.
So is this one with the garage in front of it? The garage, the tree in front of the garage?
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a sycamore that was removed in that location because it severely damaged the sidewalk. The homeowner's already got, from my understanding, has that sidewalk and foundation repairs contracted.
I think you're talking about the next door one.
Okay.
The one I'm talking, I could reach out to.
Yeah,
why don't you guys
we can talk about it offline.
But yeah, so the west side was done for last year's program, west side was done, weather got bad. So east side this year is carry over from last year. But if there's any new ones, just fill out the form and we'll put it in for this
Yeah.
year's.
It really, it comes down to budgeting at some point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well.
Well, it's whatever we can do for
bottom,
50K
yeah.
each year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, speaking to Councilman Robina this morning, or this afternoon, we talked about, whatever, if there's money left over and there's some lingering sidewalks on the east or west side, whatever's left, we'll just schedule them.
Okay, cool.
But I need to get through these 26 first.
Or else Councilman Johnson's going to yell at you. I don't know where he's at tonight. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's left? John, you the last one? Come on up. Best for last. Closer. Come on in, Mo.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would like to thank Mayor Signorello and Town Council for giving me the opportunity to provide a brief update. Membership and recreation. We currently have over 480 recreational members. Homework and aftercare. We currently have over 130 students daily. We're transporting, chaperoning over 86 students, and the ASYC handles over 1,100 student members per week. However, this week we're closed for spring break. We remain committed to providing the best possible care and programming. We believe our department offers our community members a wide variety of programming. Our winter programming was as follows: adult pickleball, middle school, high school adult fitness, adult basketball, off-season elementary, middle school, and high school volleyball, off-season baseball, and RP PAC Performing Arts Club. Winter sports teams, elementary and middle school basketball. The basketball numbers were very good. We had 12 teams practicing and competing in schools throughout the borough and county. We had 52 games scheduled, not including the playoffs and championships. In March, we hosted the recreational basketball championships, and the results were as follows. Co-ed 3rd through 5th grade champions, Team Adams. Middle school champions, Team Rotman. I'd like to congratulate the coaches, players, and parents for 2 outstanding, highly competitive games. I'd be remiss to not acknowledge our outstanding performances from our announcer, John Soberlight, and the singing of our national anthem by Tiffany Navarez. Elementary, middle school, and girls wrestling. Pee Wee Bantam, Central Jersey grade school, and girls teams have been competing since December in duels and tournaments throughout the state. We're happy to report that our teams represented Roselle Park well and had a number of tournament place winners and champions. Roselle Park Recreational New Jersey USA Wrestling State Championship results were as follows. Tot, 53 pounds, placing 8th, Cole Appello. Novice, 110 pounds, placing 3rd, Hunter Appello. Intermediate, 91 pounds, placing 6th, Jake Appello. Intermediate, 98 pounds, placing 7th, Anthony Molinaro. And girls intermediate, 112-pound state champion, Lucia Ranieri. Spring recreational programming starts on Monday, April 8th. We have co-ed tennis, spring middle school, high school, and adult strength and conditioning, spring volleyball, adult basketball, and off-season wrestling. Lastly, I'd like to congratulate Tina Schwartz, the Recreation Committee, and the Roselle Park Memorial Library for an amazing Easter event. It was well attended, and it was fun for all ages. As always, you can contact the recreation at rosellepark.net with any questions or concerns. That completes our April Recreation Department update. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We're all set for next meeting, 2 weeks from today?
Yes.
All the kids were notified and everything?
Correct.
Okay,
Teams, coaches, parents.
okay,
for-
excellent.
Yeah, basketball and wrestling.
Okay,
And
excellent.
thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Cool. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, may I have a motion to accept the reports of departments as submitted?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so pertinent to the budget discussion, I actually wanted to pull up, can I have a motion to pull up the executive closed session for this evening?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Can I do an all in favor, or do I need a roll call? You can do an all in favor.
Aye.
Okay, so there's one matter for closed session this evening. Madam Clerk, please read the closed session resolution. Oh, no, that's after, right? Before? Now? Yeah, okay, got it, sorry.
Hold on.
Okay, so can I need a vote to go into closed session? After the resolution? Okay.
Okay, whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Roselle Park wish to discuss matters which are described in the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, Sunshine Law, NJSA 10:4-12, and whereas the general nature of the subjects to be discussed in closed session are ongoing litigation, City of Elizabeth versus Borough of Roselle Park, whereas the time when and the circumstances under which the items discussed in closed session will be disclosed to the public are at a future time. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Roselle Park, County of Union, State of New Jersey adjourn the open portion of the meeting and open a closed portion of the meeting to discuss the aforesaid item.
Okay, so I need to kick the public out for, I think the conversation will be 15, 20 minutes max, and then we can let you guys back in.
Plethora.
I always forget.
I hear you.
Mine won't turn on.
But the rain garden will
Oh, there it is, thank you.
Doesn't remind your fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna,
Yeah, turn the
I'm
mic.
back.
Yep.
Yep,
Graduated
we're
in
back.
1976. That was a good question.
Testing 1, 2. Okay, got it. Okay. May I have a motion? Oh, sorry. So where am I now? Oh, yeah. Do we have to? There was no resolution. Yada yada yada. Do your thing, Donna.
I don't know if I have that, hold on. I don't have that.
Hey, Joe. Do you want to guide us through? Doesn't Donna have to say something after? There was
Yes,
no
the-
resolution. Yada yada yada.
In terms of,
She doesn't have the prompt.
I don't have.
Something was discussed during closed session. It was not resolved. Don't we need to say
I was just
something?
going to say, during closed session, the mayor
Oh.
and council discussed ongoing litigation, the city of Elizabeth versus the borough of Roselle Park, and at this time, no
public action.
action was taken, public action was taken.
All good. Perfect. Good teamwork, guys. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2774 by title.
Ordinance number 2774, an ordinance amending Chapter 27, Section 6, subsection 3 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park, entitled Imposition of Charges.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2774 for introduction and fix the date for second reading and public hearing as April 18th, 2024?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrowski.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilman Rabina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
No.
It's a 4 affirmative, 1 negative, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2775 by title.
An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank for the calendar year 2024 pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-45.14.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2775 for introduction and fix the date for second reading and public hearing as April 18th, 2024?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilman Petrowski.
Yes.
Councilman Signorella.
Yes.
Councilman Rabina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
That's 5 affirmative, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. Madam Clerk, please read all resolutions on the consent agenda by title.
95-24 is authorizing the treasurer to issue 2 checks totaling $3,106.60 payable to one lien holder on 2 properties and 1 check totaling $1,200 from the tax collector's premium account. 96-24 is authorizing the tax collector to issue a reduction and/or refund on 1 sewer utility bill for Block 1104, Lot 18 of the municipal tax map, commonly known as 212 Charlotte Terrace, in the amount of $1,695 due to a water utility discrepancy. 97-24 is authorizing the partial closure of William Street at the request of Dowling's Irish Pub and Restaurant for a Getting Close to Opening event where alcoholic beverages may be consumed on public property. And 98-24 is authorizing introduction of the 2024 municipal budget.
Okay. Do any members wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yep.
9724.
98.
Okay. Okay. May I have a motion to approve the resolutions remaining on the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance number, or resolution 97-24? Is
So move.
Second.
there any discussion?
Yes.
Yep. Go for it.
So I'm just concerned because obviously I had asked that they're not opening until mid-May.
Yep.
And regarding just the other businesses and everything that's, that it would affect, and really just my concern of people going into the building, if there's anything going to be happening like that.
You sound like Councilman Signorella.
We did talk about it, that's fine. But it's true.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I'm also concerned or really want the other businesses, you know, it's not really happening with them, you
Yep.
know? And then I was possibly thinking how we can even have them participate, maybe like a sidewalk sale or something like that, if we can amend it, if we decide on it. But my main concern is that it's not ready and almost putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, I think there's other people on the council that share that concern. Jose, you want to say anything?
No, I talked to Councilwoman Lyons.
Chief.
I almost said right.
Can you come up?
So, and I've talked to our professionals. I need to feel comfortable that nobody's going there. How far along is the construction? If 20 people happen to walk in there, are they going to fall down into the basement and get hurt? And we...
And Rich, both of you.
And do we feel comfortable that, we don't want it to happen and we don't want it to happen, but if it happens, who has the liability? That we let them to close the street off. So I'm praises for them, hope, and they open up and prosper for 60 years, but I have a concern about going in there, and I've had some professional conversations with Rich Lucio, and I think he's telling me that the building's a little more far in advance than it was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
But they're still not allowed to be in the building. Doesn't matter how, until they have occupancy, they're not allowed to be in the building.
Okay.
So, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Go for it. Yeah.
No, I'm good because I had the conversation with Rich this week, and I did have a brief conversation. I told Andrew, well, in between baby feedings, give me a call, and I just need a little education. But and I feel comfortable, and I feel comfortable that if something happens, it's not on the borough's, on our plate. We're not inheriting an issue.
Yeah, speaking on the borough's plate, I had a concern about this as well, more so a question. I didn't see addressed in this resolution, would Dowlings be responsible for paying for police presence overtime?
That is correct. They're looking at hiring 2 officers like they did for the standard other outdoor events that they did during COVID time, when the building was not being able to be used as well.
Okay.
Same scenario as far as police goes.
All right, perfect. Could we add that to the resolution? That stipulation there? I just didn't see that here. I saw the recommendations from you regarding the bathroom stations, but I didn't see anything specifically on them covering, so taxpayers know they're not paying for.
I spoke to the proprietor. He's
Okay.
already arranged it. He's got to go through Jobs for Blue
Okay.
to hire the same hiring process as everybody else. We're not just donating cops to them. They're paying the rate that everybody would pay for a contractor or whatever like that. So, and it's a weekend rate.
Okay.
I think we get $120 an hour, so it's not cheap.
I appreciate you clarifying, Chief.
And just real quick, so I just want to just comment on 2 things. So I have no horse in this race. I see the good and the bad. 2 things. One is, so any business can apply for this, like a similar permit if they want to. So Vintage, I'll make an example. It's a little tougher because they're on a state highway, but theoretically they could ask for an open permit too. So other, like Just Jubilant, for example, could also ask for a permit to sell outside wares. I would think, look, if you want to vote no tonight, do you? I think it's a little bit late to kind of, and I'm happy to connect you with the Dowlings guys. Like, you can talk to them if they want to make it bigger or this year or next year. They usually do something per year. They usually do it on St. Patty's Day, right?
Can I comment real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So I had a good conversation with the proprietors, and they were basically saying, I was telling them, why are you doing this so premature before the building is done?
Right.
It was mind-boggling to me. The way he explained it was there's a Irish band that they booked 2 years ago, that they didn't know all this was going to happen with their building. I guess it's very expensive to book this venue. They can't get them again if they wanted to. They're very popular. All their customers really wanted to see them come back. So therefore, they decided to do this outdoor event to try to accommodate for this band particularly. It was really all it was. It wasn't a grand opening or pre-opening or anything like that, the way he explained it to me. Once I understood that, then I kind of was a little bit more sensitive to the fact of what he's trying to do and what he's trying to accomplish, and we were willing to work with him on the PD side to make that happen. Same as a street fair, arts festival where we block the streets off. Same thing. We're not using buildings. They're using the outside. They're bringing in a beer truck. They're bringing in enough porta-johns so there's any lewd acts in public. And then they're also bringing in the food from the outside, same as what they typically did, like I said, during COVID. In COVID, it wasn't an issue. It was actually a welcome to the borough, so.
Glad you stuck around, Chief.
No worries. please.
Yeah, that's great. So it is closed in, it's specifically all closed in?
It'll be right in that street on William
that-
Street.
There'll be barricades.
There'll be barricades, there'll be 2 police officers in the front. They'll be monitoring the whole venue to make sure that nobody leaves the premise with any alcohol away from the location. The beer truck will be right on site, the band will be there, and I think the timeline was set by the mayor and council, or whatever the application was. I think it was 9 PM was the cutoff date, everything shuts down.
Does the Board of Health have to be notified for this?
The Board of Health needs to be notified.
Thank you.
Any questions for Rich or Chief Reno?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Donna, call the roll.
Councilman Petrowski?
Yes.
Councilman Signorella?
Yes.
Councilman Rabina?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons?
Yes.
Councilman Patel?
Yes.
5 affirmative, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. You guys could head out if you, I think we're done with you for the night.
No worries.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt Resolution 98-24?
So move.
Second?
Is there any discussion? You pulled it.
I just want to vote on it.
Okay. Donna, call the roll.
Councilman Petrowski?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson? Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
Councilman Signorella?
Yes.
Councilman Rabina, sorry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons?
Yes.
Councilman Patel?
No.
Okay, 4 affirmative, 1 negative.
You
Mr.
are on the
Mayor.
Budget Committee, but that's cute. May, all right,
I've seen everything.
got it. Didn't like it. We should have fired a guy, John. Who'd you want to fire? Tell me next time.
No.
Yeah. Okay, may I have a motion to open the public portion on any subject?
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If you'd like to come up and speak in the mic on any subject matter, please state your name and address for the record. Nobody wants to talk? You guys are just here to hang out? Okay. I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public portion on any subject?
One here, Mayor.
Oh, okay, come on up.
Hi, Council. Jerry Beltry. I live on Raglan Drive. When the chief was talking about the burglary incident on Galloping Hill Road, they broke through the window. I'm just worried about people driving around once this dispensary is opened up and driving around the neighborhood and looking at these nice houses and nice cars, and, you know, that's just a concern of mine of undesirables being around, and we're having a dispensary open 7 days a week, at least 12 hours a day, and I want to know what your thoughts are on that.
I'd love for you to define undesirable. Can you tell me what you mean by that?
Yeah, you're having a recreational cannabis dispensary, so, you know, I mean.
But let's double click on that. What is undesirable?
You're going to
mean?
have people walking in there that are high already.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
And then maybe walking around and driving around the area. I call them undesirables.
But what makes them undesirable? I'd be curious to hear.
It makes them undesirable that they're high already, and you know what? You're just bringing in kind of a bad element in
Well,
the town.
define bad
That's-
element. I'm
not gonna
curious to
define
hear.
anything. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
I'm not going to define it.
I'd just love to hear his definition of it.
I don't have to give you my definition.
Okay.
That's my thought on it.
That's fine. Yep.
Okay?
You can speak when it's your turn. Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your input. Would anybody else like to come up and speak?
Good evening again. My condolences.
Name and address for the record,
Hannah
please.
Antonson, Bender Avenue. My condolences to the Kraft family, and congratulations to the young athletes that were mentioned in the reporting earlier. The police chief used the term undesirable when we were talking about home invasions.
In reference to people invading homes.
Exactly.
Yep.
It takes someone to be casing a joint and looking around and they're coming to an area that they otherwise wouldn't be in, looking for opportunities. When they're, so that's what I want to say about the term undesirable.
So you're saying everybody who smokes weed is a criminal?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that everyone who smokes weed is a criminal.
Okay.
I did have one question about the percentage that Roselle Park is supposed to get from the legal dispensary.
Sure.
My understanding is that Breakwater is 100% cash. Are we having any auditors? Are there auditors to make sure, I mean, for an all-cash business, who's auditing the books to make sure we're getting the proper percentages?
We do not tax medical marijuana because there's a medical need for it. I feel like it'd be unethical to tax somebody who has a medical requirement for something.
That's a good point. What about for the proposed recreational facilities?
So similar to what you were alluding to before, which is a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes, at the end of the year, there is an audit. We have a financial advisor that goes through the number, as well as lawyers that go through the number, and auditors. And then we get 2% of whatever the revenue is.
And has there been any reporting of any kind, whether or not Roselle Park gets a percentage, as to what Breakwater is earning?
No, I mean, candidly, I don't think we don't audit anybody's revenues from a business perspective in Roselle Park unless we're doing some surtax. So no, but again, we don't charge for medical tax.
My understanding is that Breakwater was considering also a recreational license.
Yes, they would potentially convert from a medical to a combined license, which would be medical and recreational. And if they do that, then we would start taxing them.
Has there been any report or follow-up of what the actual traffic is to that location right now? On what basis would you want to agree to open it up to recreational, whereas now it's just medical?
So they have been issued a provisional license, and they would have to come back to the land use board, just like you guys saw with the last one, and they would have to they have to prove that they have enough parking.
So if they're asking for additional permissions,
Yes.
you would not want to audit and know what they're doing to date? This is a brand-new
I'd be
industry.
very curious to hear that. Yeah, and they'd have to present that as part of their testimony.
You had mentioned previously that you thought that the only businesses that Roselle Park could attract were recreational marijuana sales.
I did not say only.
Predominantly?
I did not say predominantly.
My understanding was that there was a business development professional that was very successful in Cranford, and that as soon as you became mayor, you fired this person. Why? Do we have a business professional, a business development professional?
Yes, because I saw her work performance so let me be careful here. No, hold on. We can say we cut that for budget purposes.
And how long did you review work performance?
It was not a performance-related topic. It was a budget-related topic. But I will say that part of the duties of that role did not include soliciting new businesses.
And have you considered a business development position for the town?
We would love to hire new staff in the borough of Roselle Park. Unfortunately, what we keep running into is a 2% cap. So we are only allowed to spend year over year 2% more than we spent last year. We have needs in a lot of different departments, in the police department, in public safety, in the DPW, and unfortunately, due to state requirements, we are at the max tax increase that we can do, which is the $122 household average that you see today. So we are actually lucky that we didn't have to fire anybody this year. Luckily, we had a retirement that we are not backfilling, and we didn't have to fire anybody. So we've been strapped for the last 2 years in terms of new hires.
Mayor, time is up.
4
4 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Would anybody else like to come up and speak?
Hey, how are you?
Name and
George
address,
Ramirez,
sir. Yep.
East Clay Ave. Just curious, I mean, everybody's got an issue with this dispensary. Not everyone. Everyone around the area has an issue with the dispensary.
Yep.
So it seems that there's nothing positive coming from this other than the 2% sales tax.
Sure.
Have you guys calculated how much that's going to be?
So, a couple things. First off, for the record, because I want to say this on the record, not everybody agreed. There are two people that voted on council, Councilwoman Lyons and Councilman Kanjan Patel, that voted no. No, I mean, look, there are estimates based on how much other towns take in, right? Candidly, I just don't see a downside to it, and I think you're making pretty bold assumptions here, right? We have seen people come out and speak out against it. There's also 14,000 people in the borough of Roselle Park who haven't spoken out against it.
Which means that's null and void.
What do you
They
mean
didn't
that's null
come,
and-
they didn't say anything, so to me, that doesn't exist.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, we go on the data that we have. The state of New Jersey legalized marijuana, and we zone for it.
So
And-
you legalize marijuana, what data do you have? How much money is that gonna bring into the town? Or are you just basing this on a whim? You just said you hope that property taxes are gonna go down, right?
It's going to be more money than we got before from those properties,
Right, well,
and it's also going to fill empty buildings.
The average dispensary takes in about 2 million a year.
Okay.
What's 2% of that?
$40,000?
Correct.
Yeah, and so if we open 2 dispensaries, that's one more cop I can hire.
How many more cops, how many more patrolmen are we gonna need for the influx of people coming in from Elizabeth, Roselle?
Oh, we need more cops regardless. We could not put up one more dispensary. 32 cops is insufficient for the borough of Roselle Park,
So we need more cops.
regardless of whether or not
We're
we put
gonna
them
put
out.
in a dispensary right on the border of Elizabeth and Roselle Park.
Yes,
Does that make sense? How does that make sense?
because it's legal.
Because it's legal, it's not
Because it's legal and it's an empty building.
so that's,
You can speak when you come up and speak. Thank you.
well, you've got people paying more than 20,000 a year in taxes that live right around the area.
Got it.
I mean.
It's astute. I agree. I don't know what you want me to
but
tell you.
You don't think you're gonna ruin their way of life?
No.
No?
No.
They came here and told you that they don't want it. So what positive do you guys have?
We had 60 people come here and say that, okay? There's 14,000 people in the borough of Roselle
How many
Park.
came here and said they wanted it?
None.
How many people showed up and said, hey, we want it, we love weed?
None.
We want it.
There's plenty of people who've
So
told me
none.
online.
So you've had 60 people compared to 0.
Yes, in
Right?
person, yeah.
All right, so you're here for the people.
Yeah. I'm here for all the people.
How are you working for these people, in favor of these people?
Because I'm pro-economic development, and it's economic development in the borough of Roselle Park.
40,000 a year.
Yeah. Do you know what $40,000 a year gets me? It gets me a lower increase in taxes. It does.
Okay.
It does. Ken, how much did we go up in the budget this year?
800 and,
Let me ask a better
it
question.
went up almost $807,000.
And how much do we spend about in parking enforcement?
About 80,000?
Right. So with another $40,000, I could have hired a new parking enforcement person, which is a problem in town. That would have been meaningful.
So you don't think we're gonna need more patrolmen in that area for this weed dispensary?
There's been no evidence of other towns requiring to hire additional police officers as a result of dispensaries open. That has not occurred in other places. So your assumption is that when a dispensary opens, that automatically there's an increase that requires a police presence. I'm just pointing out to you that this is not the first dispensary to be open in New Jersey.
How many
And the
dispensaries in a
Mayor,
residential
time's up,
area?
Mayor.
Time's up. Sorry, George. Thank you.
There are dispensaries throughout the state.
Not in a residential area, though.
It's not a residential area.
So through the chair, through the chair, Mayor.
Yep.
Through the chair, I'd just like to make a comment. So it is a positive. We just voted on a budget tonight, and a member that attended every 5 budget meetings voted down part of the team and never had a negative input at these meetings. And I fought there. A member of the DPW resigned. If he didn't resign, we were going to have to lay off an employee this year. The revenue is necessary, okay? And just for a fact, you got to do some facts. Union Township got $1 million check, okay, of revenue. Now, we're not in that same classification. George, focus on what I'm telling you, facts. You can't talk to me, I'm talking.
You just said my name, so I'm responding.
No, don't matter.
That's enough, Councilman, we got it. We
So
got the point, we
anyway,
got the point.
just do the facts, $1 million.
Can I
Facts.
say something?
Sure. No, that's enough. Next resident, thank you.
Can I say something?
No, Rosanna, next resident, thank you.
I'm Betty Woodruff from Bender Avenue. My question is, I believe I heard you say just now that we don't have enough police officers if you add these clinics or dispensaries.
Yep.
Well, $40,000 isn't going to pay the salary of a police officer. I question also, in the areas where these are built, do property values, have you done any of the towns, have you done a survey of any of the towns that have dispensaries in their neighborhoods? Has it affected property value at all? Is there any town, I know Cranford, Garwood, and Westfield do not have any dispensaries. Roselle Park is 14,000 people, 5 dispensary licenses. We don't even have a mile, and I
It's not
question.
5. It's not 5 licenses.
It's
3, yes.
3.
Up to 3.
Up to 3 in addition to what,
No, it's up to 3 total.
okay. And why, may I also ask, why we would go from medical to recreational marijuana in the one that's functioning now? And when this huge building, I can't imagine what goes on in there.
So, but.
I don't know. I mean, why does,
There is no consumption allowed on site. I just want to be abundantly clear on that. It is illegal for consumption to go on site. And we have access to recordings of what goes on in those buildings. And I'm sure I cut off Rosanna because I wanted to get to the next person. But I want to stress, all of these licenses are revocable, right? So if there is consumption going on site, we can not issue the license again, we can revoke the license. Like, these are the measures that we have and will use should things go south.
okay. The third thing I questioned was that you have a Sherman School, close to where this dispensary is going to be.
Yep.
And is there not a federal law, and I might be wrong on this, but I thought the federal law was not within 1,000 feet?
It's 500, I believe.
Okay,
It's definitely not 1,000.
it's not 1,000 feet.
It's 500, I believe.
From a school? Because I think we went 1,500.
That's our local ordinance.
That's the local ordinance. What's the federal ordinance?
So, in essence, the local ordinance is greater than the federal ordinance. Your local ordinance requires 1,500 feet.
Okay.
Whereas the federal's only 500, so we
So-
went 3 times.
So it's like, you can speed on the turnpike at, State Highway 77, but on the municipal road, you gotta do 25, right? It's better.
Right.
So the local ordinance is actually a longer distance, so it's more
Yeah,
aggressive.
But can I just, I really need to stress here. So just like we don't see middle schoolers going into Park Liquor, which is right by the middle school,
Right.
the structure around getting into these buildings is way more stringent than a liquor store. There's a guard at the beginning checking ID twice. There's not going to be kids going into this place. There's just not. It's not legal. Councilwoman, you're chomping at the bit. You want to say something? Sorry.
Sure. No, it's okay.
Yep.
Listen, I see your care, your concern. I hear you, Jerry. I hear you, Hannah. The thing is that we have fear, right? I mean,
I do.
for me, if I was living on your street and my daughter would be sitting on the front steps and they would see, Mommy, what's going on over there? And I would have to have that conversation. That's a major conversation. I would never want that to happen. I feel exactly what you guys feel. So I just want to let you guys know, the fact that you're here, the fact that you're talking, you're able to. We may not, be hearing what we want to hear, but I do have faith that if something does, go wrong, that the people here will act upon that.
We'll revoke the licenses, Rosanna.
Yeah, so, and the mayor said that, and I applaud him for that because, and I told him, show that side.
We will revoke the licenses if things go south.
Yeah, so, but the other thing is that I want to talk to you maybe offline and just like make sure that there is something local that we can say that there's absolutely no way in hell. I know, or legally there will be nobody hanging out around there, lighting up, sitting in their cars. Can we make that a local law, an ordinance, and see what we could do? Because we can't obviously go backwards, but right now, what can we do? So
Chief,
I just wanted to,
Yeah, I don't think, right now, I don't think you're legally allowed to smoke in public. Is that right? But not in public areas. Yeah. Okay.
but can we make an ordinance saying that it's illegal to do this around these?
Happy to discuss offline. I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
Subject to legal approval. Yeah, no, I love that idea. It's a good idea. It's a good safety rail. You're out of time, I'm sorry. Anybody else? Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Horatio Pereira, 472 Colonial Road, Roselle Park, New Jersey. You said that before that there was 60 people here.
60, 70.
Count me one out of it because I didn't even.
You were at the land use board meeting.
I was there all the time.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about it. And none of the other people that was there knew about it.
Okay.
Only 2 or 3 knew about it. Only 2. The neighbor in front, the Chinese, the Portuguese. Nobody knew about it. You said, now, if you have 14,000 people living in Roselle Park, if we went to tell them, you think you wouldn't be here? You would have had parking space here. You would have no accommodations for the people to be here because you would have for almost that many people to tell you no about this thing. And another thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved there, when I put 2x4 by 2x4 and then there, I came there because the town Roselle Park made that a one-way street so nobody could be from Colonial, coming up Colonial. So they made one way into down the street. You know that, right, too?
Okay.
That's why everybody that's been living there has been living there for all these years. Only Kaniki moved, the rest everybody's there.
Okay.
Now what do you think? We're gonna think that's gonna be the same for us? No, it's not.
I very sincerely hope that it is.
No, I sit in the street just to look, because what you guys said with all those people,
Yeah.
that these people pay from other towns to come and look at our street, how much? One car, psst. Another car, psst. So the whole day, maybe I see 10 cars going down?
Yeah.
Not gonna be like that. Not even the Chihuahua lady's here, so remember that.
I want to say,
Because she says she's gonna watch, because crossing the street, she don't walk too low and walk the Chihuahua. Imagine that.
you guys can believe me or not, I would not be supporting this if I really thought that it was going to impact your lives.
Sure, it's gonna impact
You
our
guys
lives.
might not like what's going there, but from a traffic and input-output perspective, okay. I think we're only taking one per night tonight. Yes. No. Anybody else? I'm seeing no one. May I have a motion to close the public portion?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, we didn't do the reports of council people.
Oh, reports. No, reports are canceled tonight. Councilman Signorello.
Look, briefly, I'll just talk about the flooding on the 23rd, and Superintendent Biamonte touched about it. I literally went out in rain and looked at the basins, looked at Lincoln Ave, went behind the homes on Lincoln Ave. I've been hearing for 2 years 2 years, the flooding has increased. So after the business administrator comes back, and we'll get together and see if we can figure out that what caused an issue the last 2 years, and we'll move forward and try to make some plans. It's been flooding for 40 years, and we got to see what we can do down the road. End of my report.
Councilman Petrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to send my condolences out to Kathy Chin, Louise DePaula, and Todd Kraft. May 24th, I attended the Easter egg hunt. It was supposed to be the 23rd because it rained. We moved it to the 24th. I want to thank Councilman at Large Joe Signorello Jr. for coming, the mayor for coming, and Rosanna for coming. Thank you very much. Again, like Ruben had said, it was a big turnout. I think well over 100 people were there, and I have to say one thing. I say this around Halloween. The kids are very respectful. So many thank yous and and the parents also. So, and I want to thank Tina Schwartz and her committee, John Ranieri also. They did a fantastic job that day. On the 28th, I attended the job fair at the Casano Center. Good turnout. I talked to a few people that were looking for jobs, and they were hoping to find jobs. Okay. On the 29th, I attended the rescue. A young gentleman on the 233 Persian Avenue was paralyzed a few years ago. So his parents renovated their house to make it handicap accessible. And I remember getting a call from a woman that worked at the Children's Specialized Hospital. Hopefully we would support it, which mayor and council that night did support. And like I said, I got to speak to the family. They were very grateful. They thanked mayor and council for all their help. And it's very sad to see a young boy who will be, paralyzed for life. I had an uncle that was paralyzed, so I know, and I envied. I tell you, I thought it was great. What he went through every day of his life was amazing. But I do reach out, and supposedly on May 4th, the rescue show is going to be televised. I'm still trying to find out what channel it is on, but supposedly I'm going to be on the TV, that show, basically just supporting the young boy coming in with all, and like I said, they renovated the house that make it handicap accessible. So the fire department got $75,000 personal protective equipment. Am I right, Chief? Yeah. The American Rescue Plan firefighter grant, we got the money from them. And like I said, it was, I'm happy to see the firefighters get this grant money. If you need to contact me, you can get me at jpetrosky@rosellepark.net, 908-666-7821. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Lyons.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a quick report. Meet the Borough is going to be at the end of the month, April 27th. And I'm sorry, April 12th, we are having karaoke night at Costa's. So if anybody's listening to this out there, please come. We're going to have a good time. And I just want to wrap up, honestly. I mean, love your neighbor. That's all I have to say. Take care of each other. A lot of stuff is happening in the world. Obviously, people are coming out, and it's an emotional thing, but let's just remember that we could just look out for each other. Thank you.
I heard you love your mayor, is what I heard.
And love your love the mayor and love your neighbor. And the mayor has to love the neighbor more.
Fair enough. What's that? I love the chief too. Love the chief too.
All right, get on the list.
Councilman Patel.
Good evening.
the Environmental Commission had a successful repair cafe. We set up 6 stations and 50 items were brought in. 41 were fixed, such as jewelry, bikes, electronics, and 15-year-old hair dryer, and many more. The garden season is fast approaching, and the commission have cleanup and prep work to do before May, including mulching, weeding, and laying new compost. We will be at the garden the next few Saturdays at around 10 a.m. if you'd like to help. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Urbina.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Roselle Park. Wanted to begin my report addressing Fifth Ward residents' safety and security concerns and inform everyone that on Wednesday, April 17th from 5:30 to 7, I partnered with the PD to host a public safety and listening session at Aldine School to discuss what our law enforcement officers are doing to keep us safe and tips to protect our families, ourselves, and our property. While these brazen car thefts and home invasions are happening statewide, now that it's close to home, we've got to send a message, and we've got to fortify our homes and valuables to safeguard and prevent them from being targeted. We also need additional resources, stronger enforcement powers, stricter criminal penalties, and more accountability for not only juveniles, but their parents and guardians, and the adults who are convicted of serious crimes, including home invasion, robbery, and auto theft. Public safety is a collective responsibility, and it begins right here at home. By being a positive role model, keeping a watchful eye on our kids and their influences. It's also about supporting our police officers and empowering our communities. I'd like to work with this governing body to contact our state officials to re-examine the consequences for malicious acts that clearly affect the safety and well-being of law-abiding citizens in our communities and the communities around us. On Tuesday, I joined Officer Cambronero at the crime prevention event at the Cassano Center, where they addressed identity theft, target hardening, and free community programs like Operation Blue Angel and free home security assessments. I'd like to commend Officer Cambronero and Chief Frino and the RPPD for being proactive in setting up the crime prevention events, which I had the opportunity to attend and participate in. For more information on these free programs and services offered by the Community-Oriented Policing Unit and the RPPD, call Officer Cambronero at 908-245-2300, extension 2141. As for infrastructure repairs in the Fifth, quick thanks to DPW for reinstalling the tire swing back at Aldine Park, working with the vendor to complete a significant portion of sidewalks in the ward under the sidewalk repair program, and for power washing the memorial at Lamonaco Perry Park. Note, on Friday, April 12th at 11 a.m., there will be a ribbon cutting ceremony at the Gordon Street Bridge. As liaison to the Chamber of Commerce, on Thursday, the 28th, we had our meeting. We've got approximately 20 Roselle Park businesses that have joined the Chamber since we partnered a year and a half ago. If you're a Chamber member, I invite you to reach out so we can make sure you're taking advantage of the many benefits available to help your business grow, including tapping into new customers, workshops, job boards, networking events, free business counseling, discounts, HR support, news release writing, and much more. The next networking event is on April 25th at M&T Bank on Chestnut Street in Union. Existing and potential Chamber members are invited to attend. For more details, email me at jrabina@rosellepark.net. The Chamber also recognizes trailblazers who promote small businesses, and each year the awards are presented to each outstanding member. This year, I'm honored to be recognized and will be receiving the Chamber Champion Award as a result of spearheading and collaborating for the Chamber's presence in Roselle Park and for supporting the growth and interest in the Chamber within the Roselle Park small business community. They'll be hosting their annual gala at Galloping Hill Caterers on Thursday, May 2nd. Note, Saturday, May 4th is the Borough's Tour to Roselle Park and Bike Clinic. Check out my Facebook page or the Borough's for more information. The event is free, and there's going to be a ton of free information, giveaways, helmets, and classes taught by Easy Ride and New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition licensed bicycle instructors. Also, on March 28th, my wife and I supported the Roselle Park Middle School PTA 8th grade committee Habit Burger fundraiser. The next opportunity to support the middle school will be on May 23rd at the high school. It's a Thursday. And beginning from 5 to 7 p.m., it'll be RP's Finest versus RP's Bravest for our first ever chili cook-off. Cost is $10 per adult, $5 per student, and proceeds will benefit both the 8th grade middle school graduating class and the project graduation for our high school seniors. Thank you to all who continue to support our PTA fundraisers. Prior to the burgers that night, I had attended the RP Job Fair at the Cassano Center. I connected Director Shaw with staff from the Union County American Jobs Center for a resource event and fair in the summer, and they were impressed with the team, the facility, and how well attended our functions are, so they were back for this event, and will be returning this fall. Thank you to Director Shaw for coordinating, Commissioner Sergio Granados for visiting, and all the county commissioners and the UC American Jobs Center for bringing these important connections to Roselle Park. I'd also attended the Repair Cafe earlier that week. In conclusion, after discussing with the blessing of my family, on March 25th, I filed for a petition for re-election. After 13 years of community service in Roselle Park, I'm humbled by each experience that has allowed me to give back to my community within my capacity. Holding a public office is an act of service to the public. That is, service to all residents, not just those who share your views or those who voted for you, which is why I stand strong on my position to build upon my bipartisan relationships for the betterment of our community. It is a challenge that requires every office holder to rise above the fray, to reach beyond comfort zones, and to work with others to whom they have significant differences. And rising to that challenge is what makes our democracy work. It's what makes shaping our shared future possible. It's building upon what others have done before us, and it's what has made communities, our community specifically, a place that we can be proud of. I'm raising my family here, and it's about making Roselle Park better for our kids, for their future, and for our future. I look forward to upcoming renovations at Boy Scout Park, further movement on our Rails to Trails project, eliminating Lake Woodside, expanding our current bike path, and installing additional traffic calming measures near our parks and schools, among other projects planned and those that will arise. I've been a very active member in our borough long before elected to represent my Fifth Ward constituents, and I hope and would once again be humbled to be given the opportunity for another term to continue on the positive momentum in the Fifth Ward. And with that, I wish all candidates running the best of luck. Fifth Ward, I can be reached at jrabine@rosellepark.net, 862-236-0019. Mayor, Roselle Park, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, I have no report. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.